Good day to you and welcome. This is hot off the press and we're going live on all of the platforms today. This is talking about bedroom tax. As we know, if you are in a social housing, doesn't necessarily have to be council, it could be social housing, and you are paying rent. If you're paying your own rent, then there's no problem. If you're paying rent and you have rent benefit, i.e. the council pays some of your rent, then you will be subject to bedroom tax. Currently, I think it's about 4%. I think I read that somewhere on my bill. If you have more than one bedroom, and there's only one of you, as there is, it doesn't matter. You pay this tax. It's basically, it's been around for a little while now, and it's designed to penalise people with more than one bedroom. Essentially, forcing you to move if you can. I can't because I am in a sheltered accommodation adapted property. I have ramps and rails and things like that in my house and round. So finding a suitable one bedroom accommodation would be literally impossible. And of course they allocated this to me back in 2008. So I've been here quite a while. Before the back operation I was paying my rent myself because I was employed fully. 100%, and you don't get any relief. You have to pay your own rent. So this is a property tax, basically a bedroom tax that is imposed on people who are on benefits, on low income, and need help to pay their rent. So essentially, the tax, which taking back money that they've already given you, punishing you for having more than one bedroom. So when I saw this story, which is on GB News, it is completely ludicrous and gives people the wrong idea. Basically, what it's implying is everybody in council properties should pay tax. So this is under-occupying a property. Now, what this guy is suggesting is that they need to apply it to people that own their own homes. So if you've gone to work, you've got your mortgage, you're paying your own mortgage, and you probably wouldn't get any benefit for that because you'd be earning too much money. So obviously people that buy their own property, they own their property. They can do what the hell they like with it. They could have a 10-bedroom house if they wish, and they can afford it. That's up to them. But this guy seems to think that we should be charging private owners bedroom tax. Have a look at this.
Let's have a bedroom tax for owner occupiers. If you're under occupying your house, your kids have moved out, you should get taxed on those bedrooms, those empty bedrooms, and that will make you think about selling the house. And if you sell the house, there'll be more family houses available, and as a consequence, there'll be less pressure on the housing market. Everybody will be better off. But there's a lot of people. If we say that people who live in council houses should pay a bedroom tax for under-occupying, let's have a proper bedroom tax in the private sector, tax the people who've paid off their house, got lots of wealth in it, and actually are living in a house that they're rattling around in. Let's actually put a tax incentive in there.
The only tweak I'd put on that is I once floated that as one option, and I think that basically you should just have a referendum where people get to choose between having that bedroom tax or abandoning the discretionary planning system.
I don't know if I've accidentally...
Brilliant.
I will confess, right, I had an extra coffee today, right, and it made me a little bit jittery. So I do admit, right, I am a little bit tongue-tied, a bit jittery today. I accept that. Not notwithstanding that. I don't know if I've gone to sleep, banged my head, woken up in some kind of bizarre, weird twilight zone. The pair of you are seriously advocating, if someone has bought and owns their property, you want to tax them if they've got 1, 2, 3 spare bedrooms in the way that you do in the, let's just say, the council house sector. The reason that you're taxing people in the council house sector is because first and foremost, often these are state-owned properties with a queue of people needing them. So what you're trying to do there, you're trying to tax their spare space to push them into smaller properties and then free up the next one on the waiting list to have a home and on you go. If somebody's bought their property, what has it got to do with the taxman or whoever, how many bedrooms they've got and not got? It's their asset, they own it.
They've got unearned wealth, and if they want to stay in a house that they've got a windfall of wealth in the capital value of it, and they want to rattle around inside it, that's fine. They can find a way to pay the extra tax. They could rent the rooms out. They could do anything. They could actually release some equity. But if we've got so many people across the country who've got wealth that they have never earned, that's never been taxed, it's not going to be taxed, and we've got so many families unable to get into a house, we have to do something to...
What if someone's bought at the height of the market and the market's struggling, as we're potentially going to see going forward, they're now in negative equity? Would you issue them with a credit then?
Nobody's in negative equity at the moment. And
I'm asking you, going forward, if someone's in negative... what you're saying is if you've got a capital asset, your property, your main primary residence has gone up and appreciated in value, you've not earned that, so therefore the state should come along and tax that. If the housing market goes into decline and then you have the opposite of what you just described, people whose primary residence is now in negative equity, are you going to issue credits to them?
If the value of the property falls, then the cost of the tax on them falls.
I don't think John and I come at this from quite the same position, because I definitely don't think that the bedroom tax is an ideal solution. But the reason that the state has a stake in what a private property owner has is that currently we have a planning system that allows people who own houses to block the development of more houses. Now, in my view, you can take the view, and I think it's the ideal view from a Conservative perspective, that, you know, your home is your castle, you own it, it's your asset, that's fine. But I think that a quid pro quo of that should be that you can't block housing development elsewhere. But if you're going to simultaneously be banking, if you like, the big cash benefits of owning that property, whilst at the same time endlessly filing planning objections and preventing the construction of more housing that this country desperately needs, that is immoral. So the question is, either you can have your home as your castle, but you can't block other housing, or
tower blocks around you,
or you accept that, you know, it's a village and you have a stake in that, you have a stake in the wider community. But if that's the case, the wider community has a stake in your housing occupation.
Are you sitting at home with a spare bedroom? Have your kids moved out? John, if he has his way, they'd come along, they'd be taxing your spare rooms. If it was me and I was sat on this house, I'd be sitting there, I'd go, right, my husband, you can go into that bedroom view. I'll make that one there an office, because after all, I work from home all the time now. I'll make that one there a little gym. I'll get one of those, you know, those fold-up exercise bikes, because obviously I want to take the strain off the NHS and get myself fit, so that room there is suddenly no longer vacant. I'd be coming up with all kinds of weird and wacky ways to fill my bedroom, so I would. What do you think to that? I find it preposterous. I've got to be honest. I wouldn't be happy if anyone tried to tax my spare bedrooms, but...
It's still usable as a bedroom. If it's got exercise bike in it, it'd still be taxed like a bedroom.
What do you think to that? If I put my 1980s fold-up exercise bike in my bedroom, tried to take the strain off the NHS by keeping myself fit, is it fair that the government should come and try and tax it? I tell you what, it's a novel idea. I don't support it, but you might do at home. Would you be up for it? Having your spare bedrooms taxed? Is that one of the ways that we help get ourselves out of this muddle?
Clearly, these idiots are living in cloud cuckoo land when they suggest things like this. I mean, why on earth would a private person who owns their own property want to pay a tax for having more than one bedroom when there's only one person in the house? Anyway, that's the story. Do feel free to comment down below and let me know if you pay the bedroom tax and how much you pay, because I would be interested. Clearly it's a issue that's been going on for several years and is unlikely to stop. That's it from me. Have a good day.